Nsembibo. Abusian John Dramani Uchirema, we appear sabotage and in Strepa Wokum this time around as a president. Abusian Uchirema was it this taking over we NPP 4 person Yeni Sheki. On person showing shrine. Uchirema NPP 4 person Yeni Yawa of the day Ashatawale Tunum say Yawa of the day. That is on God.
I promise you will be the Yawa of the day.
Ausia, Mamin Tomobo, Namichi Semu. John Dramani was tested power that as a president, that is from 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016. John Dramani, no president. That time era no. Dumsor, a serious challenge. John Dramani face here. And San John Dramani over free abino was solved Dumsor. That is 2016. Ama Nana Akufo-Addo cry about born about so. Say John Dramani onune a solved Dumsor. No more Dumsor hitting and say after John Dramani take over and no 7th January John Dramani yes in a Dumsor Sisu. This is the 2 days in power. Dumsor Bandi Abusian. Idea Hajuni. I know that George Napo during the swearing in of John Dramani, George Napo the information be to about Dumsor Ebeba Ausian Yenti George Napo.
Well done, I have bad news for you. Just today, the confirmation we are getting is that we have only 5 hours of fuel stock. If you look at heavy fuel oil and distillate fuel, we don't have up to 2 days. And so in 2 days' time, we are likely to run out of fuel. This administration has not ordered any fuel as we speak. And it takes on average 4 weeks for the fuel to arrive and 4 weeks for the fuel to be treated. And so we are in a very serious situation. At the transition, we brought this up. The outgoing administration assured us that they had procured some parcels of fuel. Today, right after President Mahama assumed office, and I served on the transition, my checks indicate that we do not have fuel that can cater for even 2 days. So clearly we have a major problem. And this is an incoming administration. Even if you order the fuel, like I'm telling you, it will take about 8 weeks. So we are in for real trouble.
In some way, George Napo, Tuja about Dumsor about this time around Dumsor was on. I was young. Oh, Chirman born to follow Chirma. During the transaction team, no Nana Akufo-Addo bind no man aware say fuel no muda power planet no Amagana for your light no extra. No mum the craft fuel abba craft fuel. No mum Andra ya no mu take over no mu say Nana Akufo-Addo bind no omo mu seki omo yawa fuel no omankra. No mum John Dramani ma aban ba fufro eba ya omu kasa omu craft fuel now. I bet take 1 month and sound of fuel naba. No fuel no sabadru Ghana. I bet take 1 month and so another 4 weeks and sound it to be treated for no. That is 2 months. No mum, you am prepared for Dumsor for 2 months because Nana Akufo-Addo ban almost secure. A man craft fuel. So by your media power planet. I was young.
It was in the process of reviewing the handing over notes that we detected the fuel stock and the challenge ahead of us. So we quickly asked for an emergency meeting. And that emergency meeting was called about a week or 2 weeks before handing over. And it became apparent that despite the Akufo-Addo government's assurance to WAPCO that they were going to procure adequate fuel, they did not have adequate fuel. And then the minister assured us that right after the meeting, we were going to take steps to procure the fuel. But when we were about taking over, and I asked for the briefing, and it turned out that, look, despite all the assurances, they had failed to procure that parcel of fuel.
I was young. Former energy minister, that is Herbert Kweku, Ochirama, keep the lights on as we did when we were in power. Or see, and this for Simon, keep the lights on as Omuyen when they were in power. I was saying, and a letter for Frobby Pierre from Greco. Na letter we Pierre there. I was saying, Ghana for Ochirama, we a pure sabotage to John Dramano administration. I was saying, I read. Power supply outlook for the West African gas pipeline offshore peaking from January to February and projecting for 2025. Abusia, omu chirema on baba yes service be, and that will take from this January this January 20th to February 16th, the next month. And on baba say on baba yes projection be. Anna, who quite say of the letter now. WAPCO has sent notification to their plan to conduct mandatory and maintenance on offshore of West African gas pipeline, to carry out pigging and cleaning exercise, conduct inspection and replacement of stubborn valves, scooter from January 20th to February 16th. And I'm kind of. Almost somebody cleaning from clean our African gas pipeline no. Service nyama bi also omuye den omuye cleaning service be that will take from that January to February. I know say of the message now. And the interesting side now. Ghana for beach them say no, we a pure subject. I read. This maintenance was original scheduled for October 2024, but had rescheduled at the request of Energy Ministry. Almost say, cleaning exercise way everybody no. Also, come in the last year October 2024, and also come here. And NPP Aban say Energy Ministers will on say no. On 1 year in 2025 we are, that is January, we are most say from January we are. That will give them enough time to much my clean. And I'm on for be say no, we are pure sabotage. Aban say da man ye. And I'm nim say dia baby baba so nothing more di ba 2025 year, and we are pure sabotage to John Dramano administration. I was here. John Dramano office had the emergency meeting on how they are going to do to resolve this issue.
In order to address the situation, because we know that it is pretty urgent, a technical committee has been set up that has representatives from all the key players in the management of Ghana's energy sector, and they have up until the close of day today to put before government a roadmap on what exactly needs to be done and how it can be done. So you can rest assured that government is taking the matter seriously and will do what has to be done in order to avert any difficulty for the people of Ghana. It needs to be stressed that the pigging exercise, or if you like the maintenance exercise on the pipeline, should have been carried out in October of last year. Government then, the NPP government, requested that they shift it to January 20th in order that they will have sufficient time to procure the alternative fuels, that is the liquid oils, to power the thermal plants within the period that gas will not be available. At least in about 2 national security briefings that the then president-elect held with the present government, he asked about the status of the procurement of oils, and he was given firm assurance by the then government that they had put mechanisms in place to resolve the situation, that there will not be the difficulty that we are talking about today. It does appear that that promise was not kept, and therefore the responsibility has shifted to the present government. But President Mahama is alive to the task, and adequate responses will be fashioned to address this particular concern. Thank you very much.
Do we get the feeling that WAPCO would be sticking to the timeline of the January 20th, or the deferral is what you may be exploring?
Well, various options are on the table, and as I indicated, there's a committee, a technical committee, with representation from all the key players in the energy value chain. That will be meeting, and they have close of day today to present a roadmap. So all options that can be explored to first of all avert any difficulty and address the situation at hand will be put on the table, and government will make a decision based on what we receive.
Will Dumsor be returning?
Well, I think that we need to wait for the work of the committee to know exactly what can be done. The idea is to ensure that we minimize any impact, as it were, of this particular situation. Absolutely. I mean, we've been in government for 1 day. I'm not sure that you can order and have food delivered to you in 1 day. So, as I indicated, this should have been done at least in October. Government then said that they needed up to January 20th to put their house in order and do the procurement of fuel. During the security briefings that President Mahama had, he asked specific questions regarding the status of implementation of that plan. He was giving firm assurance that everything was in order, only for us to discover, as of yesterday, that had not been done. And that is why, as a responsible government, we've taken up the mantle to ensure that we do the right things. So it has to be stated clearly that it was some dereliction of duty on the part of the outgoing government that has resulted in this situation. But we will take the steps that are necessary to address it.
Abusia, Chirawa Jumami, common shares.